Hey YouTube, you already know why I'm here, and you already know why you're here. So let me just say thank you for stopping by, and now let's jump right into it. The internet has broken once again with Logan Paul or Jimmy Mr. Beast's name all over it. This time it was both of them, plus KSI. When they announced Lunchly, a new competitor to Lunchables, and if for some reason you don't know what that is, it's a children's prepackaged, ready-to-go meal kit, usually coming with something simple like crackers, meat, and cheese. And as a bonus, a drink and dessert, like a juice pouch and a bite-sized chocolate item. In addition to the aforementioned crackers, meat, and cheese option, other options typically include pizza, nachos, or sandwiches. And as a competitor, Lunchly markets itself as a healthier option, but that's been called into question by many, and it sparked quite the controversy following its announcement, hence the blow-up. Essentially, the public concern is that this is just another one of those products containing a lot of dangerous ingredients, mainly poisoning kids, as that is who they're marketed toward. And they make up a huge portion of the audience demographic for the influencers behind it. However, I must say, as a person who's been closely following the information that Lunchly puts out about their product, that when reading and watching all the feedback and claims about how bad it's said to be, I didn't see a lot of people being analytical about it. It felt like one of those situations where you see a little bit of something, but then you treat it like it's at the center of a much bigger issue, despite it not having the same severity as the many examples of that issue. Like, no one seems to be addressing that Lunchly's brand is that it's a healthier option. So why is it that the concern people have is that they're exactly the same in that regard? Is it or is it not safer? Well, let's find out. From an unbiased source on non-political matters that has already internalized what's good and not good for us when it comes to our food, ChatGPT. I sent ChatGPT a photo of the Lunchly ingredients that has been circling around and asked which of the following ingredients listed in this image are unhealthy and how. And these were the first three things that were listed: high oleic sunflower oil, I probably said that wrong, corn syrup, and sugar. You heard that right, sugar. ChatGPT had to explain to me that sugar is an unhealthy ingredient in Lunchly. The other two were highlighted, so I can understand why those might have stood out. But surely there's a more dangerous ingredient than sugar that's causing all the fuss. The other two that were listed but not elaborated on were artificial sweeteners found in Prime. But like the other three ingredients, ChatGPT says the same thing, that these are safe when consumed, just not when consumed as a full-time job, which I imagine could be tied to being processed. But anywho, like I mentioned, there are a lot more ingredients on that list. Sugar is not something we needed a lesson on. And I think the same could be said for corn syrup. So I asked if there are any other healthy ingredients. Then it elaborates on one of the artificial sweeteners that it mentioned before. So already, it repeated another ingredient, which suggests to me that overall, none of these ingredients are sounding off any alarms. And again, let's not forget, sugar was one of the first ingredients ChatGPT felt the need to point out. When what we're hearing from everyone against Lunchly is that it's a lot worse and a lot more dangerous for kids. The other ingredients in this new batch were dipotassium phosphate, monocalcium phosphate, gum arabic, and ester gum. I will leave the information for these ingredients on the screen, but these are basically stabilizers and thickeners, and that, like all the other ingredients listed in the previous ones, they're safe in moderation and only unsafe when consumed in large numbers. And ChatGPT elaborates on the health risks of what to expect if that's the case, but so far, none of these ingredients are a you should never put this in your child's mouth if you want them to live kind of ingredient. Which brings us back to the original question that led you to clicking this video. Is it safe to say that Lunchly is poisonous to children? ChatGPT? And I quote, "No, it would not be accurate to say that Lunchly is poisonous to children. The ingredients listed while containing processed components and additives that aren't ideal for daily consumption, are generally recognized as safe, GRAS, by regulatory agencies like the FDA when consumed in moderation. These types of lunch kits are designed to be safe for human consumption, including for children. And there's your answer. But ChatGPT is not finished, folks. However, many of the ingredients, such as corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, processed oils, and additives like phosphates, may contribute to unhealthy dietary habits if consumed frequently. Over time, such ingredients can potentially lead to health issues like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, particularly if they are part of a diet that lacks whole, nutrient-rich foods. And before I get into the last section of ChatGPT's answer, I want to say that this doesn't surprise me. I knew Lunchly wasn't going to be perfect. Prime isn't perfect. Feastables chocolate by Mr. Beast isn't perfect. And if you think that artificial always means that something is bad, then that's just a surface level position. Another thing would be that we've seen this all before. This is most of the food on our shelves in grocery stores. They are made a certain way for convenience, but still has to be approved or it can't be sold. Lunchly, as mentioned, is approved. Continue, ChatGPT. While Lunchly may not offer the most nutritious option, calling it poisonous would be an exaggeration. A more accurate statement would be that it contains processed ingredients that aren't the healthiest choice for children, especially if eaten regularly. Encouraging a balanced diet with more whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains is key to ensuring children's long-term health. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's exactly what I thought this was going into this. I couldn't pinpoint that without looking into it for myself. It's an exaggeration, a go-to narrative that people are stamping on this brand as a way to seek out further disdain for the people behind it, mainly Logan Paul and Mr. Beast. Now, I didn't plan on asking this question, but once I started catching on how familiar this all seems, I thought I'd go ahead and get ChatGPT to weigh in on the bigger issue at hand, and how Lunchly is just a very, very small factor in it all. And the answer is going to shed a huge light on what the real problem is and where our attention should be directed. Here's what I have to say to the chat. I'm seeing a recurring theme of debatable elements of safety listed in the ingredients, but that they're mostly safe moderation or little consumption, such as sugar, something we see in almost everything. Isn't this a very common theme in the American food diet? Take it away, chat. Yes, you've identified a key issue that is a common theme in the modern American diet. Many processed foods contain ingredients that are generally recognized as safe, GRAS, in small or moderate amounts, but can become problematic when consumed frequently or in large quantities. This includes sugar, artificial sweeteners, processed oils, preservatives, and food additives like phosphates and emulsifiers. These ingredients appear in many everyday foods, from snacks to drinks to prepackaged meals, making it challenging for many people to avoid them entirely. The chat then goes on to elaborate on those particular ingredients, which I will show on screen, but what takes it home is the last paragraph. In summary, the safe moderation mindset is pervasive, but becomes problematic when moderation is hard to achieve due to the widespread presence of these ingredients in nearly all processed foods. It's a challenge that many people face in maintaining a balanced, healthy diet, especially when convenience often outweighs nutritional quality in food choices. So, the problem isn't that Logan, Jimmy, and KSI came up with Lunchly and decided to go through with it, or that it has bad ingredients. The problem is that these ingredients are common practice in this food industry and that it's everywhere. If you want to combat that, balance your own diet, moderate what your kids are eating, and recommend the same for others. It's not their responsibility to make the perfect food item that just doesn't exist in this culture, but our responsibility to pay attention to what we consume, and that if it's something like Lunchly and millions of other food products, cut back on it and make sure it's not all we're eating. Lunchly is only dangerous if you eat it like you drink water. And again, Lunchly is not alone in that. The issues collectively derive from everything else you eat as well. For some people, that's hard. For others, it's not affordable to eat flawlessly. And for some, it might not even be that serious. But if it is, we shouldn't come for this particular product because that's a name and face right behind it and use it as a means to continuously damage reputations. And there you have it. As ChatGPT said, while Lunchly isn't the most ideal, it is not poisonous and is in fact a safe food option. The notion that it isn't is just a default judgment and another excuse to attack someone that people don't generally like, someone who gets hate for everything, and someone who's already facing a lot of backlash. Thank you all for watching. I'd be happy to make an update video if anything more concrete about the alleged harsh dangers of Lunchly were to come out later. But until next time, tune in. Bye.